Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
For this episode, I'm going to reflect on the year we just had. This is going to be a little bit different from my other episodes. This will be a very, very short episode. It won't be very long, but it'll be very efficient and very direct and very purposeful in what I want to get across. And let me just say first and foremost, death to 2020, right? Death to 2020. But not death to 2020 in the sense of the year, right? It's death to 2020 in the sense of all the things that we were bombarded with, all the things that overcame a lot of people, death to 2020 in the sense of all the depression, all the negativity, all the disappointments. Death to all those things. And I want to make sure that I point out at the very beginning that please don't make the mistake of believing that now we're in a new year, right? It's officially 2021, that this is going to, for some reason, bring about some new hope and some new start. No, it's great if this is what happens, right? But I don't want us to make the mistake of thinking that just because we are in a time where it's January 1st or January 2nd, January 9th, and it's 2021 instead of 2020, that we aren't living in the same times. Let's make no mistake. We want to pray for the best, right? Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And we're living in, uncharted territory, uncharted times right now. And I think all of us, I've never seen a year, I've never seen a time, I've never seen a longer extended period of, weeks and months that so many people at once has dealt with a lot of the same things, same problems. Death, right? Death has been a big one. Trauma, like I said before, disappointment. But I'm going to tell you, like anything, you can find something good from it. You can find the bright side to anything. And the name of this episode is going to be, unless for some reason I choose to change it, and I don't see why I would, it's going to be called Death to 2020. Nothing lasts forever. If 2020, the year, the 365-day period that we just passed, if it has not taught Demetrius anything, it has taught me that nothing lasts forever. Whether that means financially, health, relationships, nothing lasts forever. Friendships, any of that stuff, your life, any of that stuff can be taken just like that. Any of that stuff can go away just like that. And this year was so strong for me that I thought it was important. I was like, yo, I haven't done an episode by myself since I've started the podcast. I get so many requests. I get so many people asking to come onto the podcast. And I appreciate it, you guys. I really do appreciate it, everybody. I got a lot of people that I'd like to have to come onto the podcast that hasn't come on yet, that I haven't reached out to yet, that we have agreed to do and we just hadn't got together to do it yet, found the time to do it yet. But I thought it was important to sit down with just me and talk directly to you all, to let you know that this year or this past year or this past 365-day period has taught me so much. It has taught me so much, you all. It taught me, if I've always cherished, I'd like to think that I've always cherished everything that I've had. But if I've never cherished it before, I definitely cherish it now. Nothing lasts forever. Life. I know many people who have lost family members due to COVID-19. I directly know people who have lost their life due to COVID-19. This is a 365-day period that will go down in history, as we all know, right? This is a 365-day period that will be one to remember for the rest of our lives. We will never forget this year. We will never forget all the things that came with this year. Nothing lasts forever, man. I had a father that was murdered in August of this year. Or at least that's around the time I got the word of what happened to him. And it was a father that I did not have a relationship with the way a son would like to have a relationship with his father. He's not here anymore. Someone took his life. That was the strangest funeral I had ever attended in my life. Nothing lasts forever. I had a lady who was like a grandmother figure to me. She passed away last year. And the direct family to her did not take her passing too well. I know death in general is hard, but I mean, like, they took it really, really hard. Nothing lasts forever. We've had a ton of people that we've seen on the news lose their life. Nothing lasts forever. We had the George Floyd situation happen earlier this year that rocked the nation, that rocked the world. Witnessing this man be persecuted, executed on camera for everybody to see. It was a public lynching. There's no other better way to put it. That's what it was. Nothing lasts forever. We had Miss Breonna Taylor. God rest her soul as well. Her life was taken. Jacob Blake, Ahmaud Arbery, right? Nothing lasts forever. Relationships, friendships. I've lost 7 friends this year. I lost 7 friends this year. And I lost 7 friends, not their lives, but the relationships. And the relationships had very little to do with Demetrius. It was very little that I did directly. It was more so where they were in life. And one of those friendships or relationships that I lost, to this day, I have no idea why I lost the friendship. Nothing lasts forever. I've never in my life lost so many friends ever in my entire life put together. And I lost so many friends within this last year that just passed than I ever have before. These are tough times for everybody. Nothing lasts forever. Those finances that you all are living with right now, many of you out there are struggling financially. Many of you are struggling to find a job. These things are real. These are real problems. These are everyday problems. And I know people personally who are struggling to find a job. I know people who have jobs that are struggling to pay bills, car notes. And they dealt with that all last year. People lost their jobs to COVID-19. A lot of people did. A lot of people were laid off. A lot of people were fired, right? A lot of people were put on these unemployment benefits. But those did not last forever. I had a lot of friends this year. A lot of family this year that reached out and was dealing with depression on a whole nother level. Mental health is real. Just because you're fine today does not mean In a few months, you may not be dealing with some sort of depression. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And I want everybody to understand this. I keep reiterating this. I keep repeating this because it's very important. If 2020 did not show me anything, it showed me that nothing lasts forever. People are losing their lives. People are losing their jobs. People are losing relationships and friendships. People are losing their minds, figuratively speaking, due to this last year. Death to 2020. It's not about the year so much. It's more about, let's make this next 365 day. Let's make this next 20-day period. Let's make this next 155-day period better than our last 365. I had more people in the last year borrow money from me and mess me over than I have ever experienced in my life. And I've never really just had someone do me like that before. But being that we're living in these crazy times, you would think that someone wouldn't do that to you, especially when you tell them beforehand, hey, this is the situation. Don't let me down. And to have that person to still do it is very, very disappointing. Nothing lasts forever. I wrote out a little list. And financially, people have asked me for advice financially. And this is for the people who have asked me, but this is also for the people who still owe me money, who still owe other people money in their lives, and you're wanting to be a leech off other people, or you're wanting to find the easy way out. Here's my advice to you. Get paid. Find a job. Get paid what you're worth. And spend less than you earn. I'm going to say that again. Get paid what you're worth. And spend less than what you earn. That may sound simple, but a lot of people struggle with this very first step. All right? Stick to a budget. Set a budget that will not put you in a financial bind. Pay off any credit card debt that you have. Create a savings plan. Do not impulse buy. Especially in a time like what we're living in right now. Impulse buying, this is the worst time to be doing that. Tread lightly. Tread carefully. Relationships. Don't try to force closure. I spoke about how I lost 7 friends in this past year. Well, one of those relationships, I did not get closure. And to this day, I'm still extremely confused. But this is my message. This is my word to you. Don't force it. And I was doing that for some time. I've never dealt with major depression in my life, but I've dealt with depression on a smaller scale. But when I lost this particular relationship, because I was really close friends with this person, and again, it had nothing to do with me. So I'm very, very lost. Nothing transpired. Nothing happened. But I'm going to tell you the mistakes that I made so that maybe somebody out there can learn for this next 365-day stretch. Do not force closure. You can't force someone to give you closure. You both have to be ready. It makes a difference. It matters. And I was trying to force closure on this person. Give yourself a lot to look forward to. That's really important. A lot of times when we're depressed, it's due to the fact that we can't convince ourselves that whatever's depressing us, that there's something better out there, that there's something better to look forward to, that there will be better days, because we're in this slump. Give yourself something to look forward to. That's extremely important. Meet new people, which will happen at some point anyways, right? But here's the catch. Meet new people, but don't compare that last situation that you had, whether it be a intimate, romantic relationship or just a friendship. Don't compare this new friend. Don't compare this new person in your life, special person in your life, to the last situation. You're setting yourself up for failure. Tailor your social media. We're living in 2020, people, right? We know this. This is going to be the year, or technically we're living in 2021 now, but we're living in a time. The point is, we're living in a time where social media is bigger than it's ever been. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Snapchat, we have Facebook, we have so many outlets. We have Tumblr. Oh my goodness, we have WhatsApp. Like, I can keep it going. That stuff can contribute to depression. That stuff can contribute to your downfall. If you're in a situation where you've lost a relationship with somebody in the last year, tailor your social media, which means utilize that unfollow button. Utilize that don't block. Necessarily blocking someone isn't really necessary unless you feel like it's necessary. You don't really have to do it, but utilize that unfollow, that untag button. If you have to untag some people in some posts, do it. If you have mutual friends with that person and you have to have those awkward conversations where they're going to ask you about that person, find a very, very safe go-to statement, like, oh, we're just not speaking right now. Those things help. Oh, we just haven't spoken in a while. And just keep it moving. That way you're not pressuring yourself. You're not finding yourself in a new situation every time it comes up. I started grad school this year and I did well. I made all A's. But it was easily the worst semester of my life. And it's not even close. I still did not feel like a grad student. I signed up to go to grad school in person. COVID-19 changed that. Everything was online. This is not a depressing episode. And this is why this is not a depressing episode. Because the point of this episode is for me to tell you that everything I just named to you, guess what I did? I found purpose. This list that I'm listing off to you, these are things that I'm implementing in my life. I lost a father. I know people, associates that died from COVID-19. I lost many relationships with close friends of mine. And the situations had very little to do with me. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Jacob Blake, and the many other names, countless names that I can't think of, who lost their life to senseless police brutality. But I remained focused. I regrouped myself. I recouped myself once the semester ended. And I found an excuse to smile. I found an excuse to not make excuses anymore. Does that make sense? Pay attention to your mental health. Pay attention to your physical health. And I'm taking the initiative to do that. Within this year, 2021, I've already vowed, not a New Year's resolution. I don't believe in those. I'm talking about I just made the solution the second the semester ended. These are the things I'm going to do. I started to work out. I've never in my life, I'm 26 years old. I've never in my life consistently worked out ever. I'm doing it now. Because what these times have shown me is that nothing lasts forever. Pay attention to your body. Listen to yourself. I'm working out now and I'm going to stick to it. Mental health. Pay attention to yourself. I'm going to see a doctor to get my first checkup. All around checkup. It's important. Nothing lasts forever. Don't think just because you're okay today that in a year or 2 years you won't be struggling with some type of mental health. Nothing lasts forever. I put myself in a space where I'm building my relationship with the Most High. And whether you believe in a higher power or not, the point is I'm putting myself in a position where I'm not being too reliant on other human beings. And I lost these relationships with other people, and it bothered me so much that it put me in these small depressive states. Not okay. Not okay. Death to 2020.